Hi, I'm Igor Mateski. This is my story of how I started Webmax 4 months from a broken laptop and a $13 PDF.
So Webmax 4 months has been in the digital marketing industry for almost a decade, or at a decade now?
Bit over
a decade. And you've been able to watch the industry, like zoom out 30,000 feet looking at the industry. What trends are you seeing in today's digital marketing world that might be pace setters for the future of the industry as a whole?
Well, to look at the future, you need to know a little bit of the past, so that there's some context to that future or to that futuristic thinking. Where it's going, I could definitely say that it's improving, and like 10 years ago, it was relatively easy. Relatively being the key word, was relatively easy to take any crappy website from any made-up business for any service and force its ranking with a lot of what's today considered a no-go zone, with a lot of bad links. Because Google loves backlinks, and you would inflate the popularity of the website to a point where a crappy website would outrank a website of an industry leader, because there's been a lot of inflation of the value of the website. And I'm relieved and happy to see that Google has, they're releasing patents all the time, and they've progressed so much that while it is still doable to inflate the value of a website, it's much more difficult. And now people, at least marketing agencies and website owners, are more focused on let's maybe get a slower growth, but a manageable and a sustainable growth that's not going to go away when the next Google core algorithm update happens, which is what happened just a month ago, actually. And I've seen panic reports of people losing 80% of their traffic or 90% of the traffic, or they've lost clients because of it. And they've lost clients and they've lost traffic, and Google did the update so that their user, Google's user, the searcher, is going to get an actual answer to the question. I mean, that's the whole thing of Google existing. You go to Google and you Google your question, and Google gets you the answer. And if Google doesn't get you the right answer, you may be tempted to go to Bing. So Google has a vested interest in providing value, true value, not inflated value, to their user, and it's forcing out bad marketers who are still relying on these ancient and spammy approaches to doing marketing. So I'm actually excited about the future. It's clearing out. It's clearing out from these wannabe marketers that think that submitting links here and there and spamming other websites with links and begging people for guest blog posts and even doing quasi-criminal activities. They're hopefully disappearing. Hopefully they're a dying breed.
I think a lot of business leaders would be encouraged talking to you. From what I've heard speaking to you about this issue, is that quality content matters. In other words, they don't have to put junk out there just to win some spam race.
Yes.
Can you walk, let's just say, a business leader through why quality on their website, actual quality matters and search rankings, etc.
Yes, well, it does go back to Google's, and we are mentioning Google here a lot, and search engines in general as a technical product. The whole point of Google's existence is to provide actual people that have actual questions with actual answers. The websites that are authoritative on a topic, on a question, that have an authoritative, quantitatively, I don't know if that's a word, quantitatively better blog posts that are addressing a certain question, Google is going to rank them better, because what that website is providing Google's users, the searchers, is an actual answer to the question. And if you have a website that has 10,000 articles on whatever, from carpet to glasses to whatever, there's not going to be a lot of focus there, and that website is not going to be able to be an authoritative source of information, unless it's an encyclopedia. But for a business website, if it's fancy chair production, you will want a lot of content that's addressing people's needs of fancy chairs. And if you're not answering people's questions, you're not going to be able to attract people and keep their attention there. Why is it important to have quality content? Well, it's important because through that content, people get to know your brand. For quality chairs, it's going to be your good content that's going to sell your business, that's going to sell your brand before you ever have a chance to sell a chair, at least online. So you're not going to be able to have a competitive website without having a website that's full of quality content. I hope this is answering the question of a lot of business owners who are hard-pressed to buy cheap blog posts at $20 a piece just because it's cheap and it's big. It's not about how big it is, the blog post. It's about what kind of quality does it have. And Google, thank God, has managed to find a way to quantify goodness of text.
Got it. So digital marketing, I've heard you say that marketing agencies need to know that they're not just in this for the money. You said something like it's a powerful tool that impacts a lot of people. And we could go into recent history, but the effects on society and spending habits, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And what thoughts do you have?
100 years ago, people were brushing their teeth with radium-enhanced toothpastes. A lot of people died. A lot of people died in clock factories because they used a radioactive material instead of the phosphorus that we use today. And those products were labeled useful. I mean, even closer to today with a vaccine in the 50s, which was basically sprayed in the air. And I can still see the image of, it's a black and white image, and there's, this large American car, the American dream type of a setting where kids are running around, and there's this cart that's pulling some kind of an evaporator. That is, just spewing out gases, which is this vaccine, and it's like totally safe. And then you have an epidemic of kids suffering from all kinds of diseases. And when you look at the radium-enhanced toothpastes and the poison that was produced and that was proclaimed safe for kids in the 50s, it's a marketing message. Marketing, it's a strong tool that requires a lot of responsibility on the people that use it. You affect how people behave. You affect how people spend their hard-earned cash. You affect where society is going.
Well, let's flip it. In another conversation, you and I talked about the electric cars of the early 20th century. And maybe you could call it the lack of marketing.
Yeah, it wasn't really the lack of marketing on the side of electric cars early in the 20th century. It was the dominant presence of the internal combustion engine cars and Henry Ford. It's interesting to speak to younger people nowadays and think that Tesla is the first electric car that ever made it on the streets. And if we talk to our generation, we would think that the Gewies or whatever it was, a small electric vehicle that nobody wanted to even look at, let alone own. Marketing, the strong dominant force of marketing in Henry Ford's hands, launched the internal combustion engine as a better product compared to electric vehicles, and mostly that was because of endurance of just the mileage that you could go through without having to recharge. It shifted the entire transportation industry, especially in the States, where there are so many cars that nowadays we have people that want to move away from mechanized transportation altogether. And that too is a result of marketing, and agencies that do marketing, businesses like Webmax Formans that do marketing for other clients. It's all commission based. An NGO or a for-profit organization, or maybe even a government, especially governments, when they hire marketing agencies to do marketing work for them, it's constructing the public opinion, and it is sometimes scary to see how much you can sway people into thinking this or that, especially when you have when you've constructed and fleshed out the ideal user persona, as we call it, the target audience, where you flesh them out so much that you actually know how they would, or you project how they would respond to a certain color, to a certain noise, to a certain, rhythm of speaking or writing. And then you go back and say, okay, I have these people that I want to polarize and get them to like this thing here, whatever it is, whether it's an internal combustion engine or a radium empowered toothpaste. You have the message, you have the market, and then all you have to do as a marketing agency is to make the connection. It's a lot of responsibility on marketing agencies.
So what would you say to the business leader who's saying, it's a good product, I'm trying to create something of value, and I need to get it out there on the web?
Yeah.
How do you help someone reconcile that as they look at the massive digital world?
Don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot about your products and your service. I was contacted by one school that wanted to undo the bad mouthing that students and teachers did. and
You mean online?
yes, yes. So this was a school, a private school, where a lot of rich people were sending their kids and paid a lot of money and expected that those kids would be treated as royalty. But the flip side was that the teachers were treated like crap. And then teachers, under the pressure of just bad practices in the school, could not really treat kids as royalty. And the word got out on public review websites, and it has seriously, undermined the survival of the school. And they wanted to hire WebMax foremans to fix that for them. And as I was in touch with the liaison for this project, and as I was looking at what actual people have written about their actual experiences, I was like, I can't help you here. You have to first stop being an idiot to your employees. I mean, I didn't say this to the client, of course, but it was a polite decline of the project. And for business owners, just do your work properly. Love your clients because they're making your business run. Because if you don't have the clients, why have the business?
Well, let me land it with it's kind of more personal. You've been blessed to develop a company in a developing economy here in Macedonia. And just any comments for people, let's just say skills in digital marketing or other skills who are operating from one of these developing economies, which globally are doing this right now. There's a major shift that's happening. Any comments for those people who may feel like the underdog or disadvantaged, but are competing on a global scale?
Yeah, well, there's in any industry and in any scenario, you will always have a David and you will always have a Goliath. You will always have an industry leader and then a challenger. Building WebMax forums here in Macedonia, it was challenging. First and foremost, I think to help business owners even consider outsourcing to Europe or consider outsourcing to Eastern Europe, to be more specific. Unfortunately, for a lot of business owners in the West, meaning Europe and the States, businesses were forced to rethink staffing after the 2008 meltdown. I think that, I don't think I've read this, that that meltdown forced a lot of companies, big companies, to outsource IT, outsource tech support, outsource marketing, outsource a lot of, I mean, you have huge companies, I'm not going to name them, that have outsourced manufacturing to the East. Part of that outsourcing, stampede was a lot of companies outsourced their marketing way in the East. I'm not going to name any countries. And shady business owners who have built shady companies that did shady marketing backfired on the marketing agencies themselves and on the companies that hired those marketing agencies.
You could even say on the countries that contain the shady deals.
Yes, yes, definitely. I mean, you've pushed a lot on the idea of Macedonia, the, how did you call it, the fake news capital of the world. I mean, you had shady money coming in, going into shady pockets, and those shady people doing damaging things And that has damaged the reputation of my country, just as those shady marketing agencies have, put a dark spot on their countries. Luckily, for my agency, the shadiness of working with the Far East meant that a lot of companies that were still interested in outsourcing, looked closer to home. And their simple question was, where can I get a good return on investment where I do get a solid marketing for a lot less money? And there was a time, some 7-8 years ago, when a lot of colleagues, a lot of other marketing agencies were solely competing on price. And just by having a lower expenses in terms of, real estate, in terms of equipment, in terms of taxation, employment, and all kinds of money-saving things that we have here, I've managed to stabilize the company just by providing cheap solutions. The time has shifted, and WebMax has shifted. It's grown up, where we're really not focusing on providing cheap marketing, but we're providing cost-effective marketing.